Hello, my name is Mohammed Junaid Kamal, and this presentation is about measuring and management contemporary IT-related risks. These are the three topics I will be discussing in my presentation. What is risk? Risk is a threat of damage, liability, loss, or any negative incident that is caused by external or internal events. It is the probability and magnitude of a loss, disaster, or other undesirable events. Risk can be identified as hazard, which later can turn into disaster. Four components of IT-related risk, which are security, internal and external malicious threats, availability, unpredictable components that deals with natural disasters and system failures, performance, resources such as IT infrastructure and optimizing its performance, IT policy and external regulations. Internal policy must link to the law. Type of risks: operational risk, based on day-to-day activities such as human error. Strategic risk, based on decision-making such as providing resources. Project risk, based on a strategic risk, involves poor or wrong decision being made. Financial risk, based on financial loss due to taking risks such as bankrupt. How can risk be measured? There are different ways of measuring risk. First one is probability, how likely or unlikely it is to occur. Insurance is given when the timing or incident of a loss is unpredictable. Assets, the organization can have a lot on stake. These assets can be a loss, an uncertain decision was taken. Cost, an action that needs to be taken which can result into either a loss or profit. The most common ways of measuring risk is estimate the likelihood. This allows organizations to identify each task and then ask themselves how likely it is to happen. Estimate the impact. After deciding how likely each of the risks are, the next stage is to estimate the impact. How can risk be managed? Managing risk is very important in any organization. Managing risk is what allows your organization to be safe from any threats, external or internal. Managing risk can also allow you to prepare for any future threats and to have an alternative plan. Risk management is a set of procedures to recognize, examine, and respond to risk issues throughout organization or even a project. In order to manage risk, you first need to follow basic steps of risk management, which are identifying the risk, pick how and define the risk that might have an impact, analyze the risk. Once the risks are identified, you and your team will need to figure out the chances and the result of each risk. Evaluating the risk. You will then need to evaluate the risk by figuring out the greatness of risk. Treat the risk. This is where in between the step you will pick out the higher risk and come up with a plan to manage that risk. Monitoring and reviewing the risk. This is where you have listed all the risks and then you monitor them. By monitoring them, you will have a better understanding of the occurrence. These 5 steps is a good way for professionals to plan and analyze the risk proper in detail. Handling risk. 4 ways for organization to handle risk. Accept. This is the part where business would accept a risk as a business decision. Avoid. This means that organization is going to do nothing about the risks that are identified. Mitigate. This means that the organization is cutting down risk by implementing controls, fixing or other measures that have an effect on the risks. Transfer. Transferring the risk can take many forms, for example, cyber liability, insurance, and outsourced services. Contemporary risk challenges to measuring and managing risk. Risk management for professional analysts can be quite simple if they know their system well enough and know what sort of things can be harmful to their system. However, with the development in IT moving at a fast pace, this is not an easy thing to do. New risk management challenges with data security. A lot of businesses today don't measure the risk of security of their data properly and end up losing businesses. This is because a lot of businesses think that data security is an IT problem doesn't require a big budget in their businesses. The risk management for some businesses is still challenging because of the rate at new development in IT are being made, and the businesses are not being able to keep up with them. A real-world example of this picture being stolen from Snapchat. A security firm warned Snapchat about their vulnerability in the system, but Snapchat didn't do anything about it. This shows that businesses, even if they have the resources to do something, sometimes don't make their data secure enough due to the lack of proper risk management. Risk management challenges with cloud computing services. Cloud computing is a recent development which has led to a lot of risk management challenges. A lot of businesses have started using cloud computing services, but they don't know how to properly assess the risk of using cloud computing. They assume that because their data isn't internal to their building, the chances of their data being stolen or lost decreases massively. However, this is not the case. Even though their data may become a bit more secure, but it's still vulnerable to natural disaster at the location where cloud servers are being kept. In conclusion, I believe if businesses and individuals assess all the variables and follow the right procedure to manage risk, then there is a good chance to assure that the risk to any business is minimized. Although risk cannot be always avoided, but it can be reduced. Thank you for listening to my presentation.